Hi everyone, it's Anthony over at Life Rooms. We're going to do something a little bit different today. We are going to do Life Rooms Kitchen. Okay, so I've got some special guests with me today. We've got Helen from the dental team. We've got Ian, the senior recovery learning facilitator. And then we've got Trish, our resident PT. So we're going to do some dishes on healthy eating today, some little healthy treats. And each person's going to have a little bit of conversation about what they do. So we're going to get cracking with Helen first. Helen's going to do a healthy breakfast quiche, so let's get started. Right, so here we are ready to do the quiche. So Helen, what I need you to do is you're going to prep some peppers, some aubergine, and you're going to whisk up some eggs for me. I've got on my plate, I've got some celery, carrot, onion and tomato. So we're going to get all this prepped up, nice chunky dice, so don't worry too much about it because we're going to roast it off first. Thing is with quiche we can add whatever we want, it can all go in there, it's all good. So we're going to get cracking, okay? So let's get started. So Helen, talk to me a little bit about what you've got in front of you here, this little display.
We've got some really healthy ingredients that I'm actually about to chop, really healthy. What we were going to talk about today maybe was healthy snacking. So I think, you know, lots of people like to snack in between meals, and some foods are more healthy than others for teeth. Right. So we've got some examples of healthy foods which won't damage the teeth, won't set off what we call acid attacks. Right. And that would be natural fruit. It's a really good option for a snack. But there's some foods that there's a preconceived idea, I suppose, that they can be healthy, and we're looking at fruits that have been processed. Right, okay. So, for example, we've got dried fruit and fresh orange juice and smoothies and yogurts. So
what, they're not healthy, or what do you mean by that?
They're healthy for our bodies, but they're not healthy for our teeth. So we've got natural sugars that are found in natural whole fruits. But once the fruits go through a process, so that what happens then is the juices and the natural sugars that don't harm our teeth are released. So when they're going through these sort of processes, those sugars are released and they actually transfer into a harmful sugar. So they're not healthy for snacking in between meals. Okay. So I suppose the message around that is, if you're going to have these sort of drinks and yogurts and dried fruit, have them after a meal time, because it's safer to have them 3 times a day after a meal time rather than as a snack in between meals.
Right. Oh, cool.
Helen, can I ask you something about that? Something we spoke about before was that if you have something that's acidic or has got high sugar content, is that you don't brush your teeth immediately afterwards. You told me something about that.
No. You know, in terms of brushing our teeth, we should be brushing using an adult fluoride toothpaste twice a day, and that's for young children as well. So really good pointing that out, Ian. What we recommend with brushing is you can, for example, in the morning you can brush either before or after breakfast. But if you're going to choose to brush after breakfast, you need to wait at least an hour. So you need to wait an hour. Our body has a natural defense mechanism against sugar attacks in our teeth, in our mouths, and that's our saliva. So we need to be able to allow the saliva to repair any damage that's been done to the teeth after we've eaten. So I don't know about you, but I find it's quite tricky brushing your teeth an hour after you've had breakfast. It's a tricky one.
I struggle even the sort of like brushing your teeth before you go to bed. I forget all the time.
Yeah, well, one of the key, I suppose, the key message that the British Dental Association sort of put out is that try not to have anything sugary just before bedtime, because I said before, our saliva is our body's natural defense mechanism, and when we go to sleep, what happens to our saliva flow? Right, okay. What happens to our saliva when we go to sleep? It stops, doesn't it? It does. So if you have something sugary just before bedtime,
it's just going to sit up there.
The saliva isn't there to repair the damage. So try and always opt for sugar-free snacks, particularly just before bedtime.
Good stuff. Can I be a pain and just pinch that aubergine? I'm just going to chop it for you.
There you go. Am I slow, Anthony?
No, not at all, not at all. It's interesting what you're saying, really, in regards to... Because I think, like, so for example, dried fruits, I've got children and I've got a habit of giving the kids dried fruit because I automatically assume that they're great for them and things like that. Yeah. But and getting the kids to brush their teeth is like pulling teeth. Funnily enough, absolutely.
Dried fruits is something that many people do opt as a snack, and unfortunately it's something that we recommend to stay away from as a snack in between meals. If you think of a grape, it has natural intrinsic sugar in it, like an apple or an orange. As soon as you squeeze the juice out of that grape, it releases those natural sugars, and they then can become harmful sugars to our teeth.
Yeah.
So, and then they tend to sort of encrust themselves on the outside of the grape to form the raisins. So have them, because they really contribute to our fibre day, but there are safer times in the day to consume those sort of foods.
How many eggs you got there?
I've got 5. Do you want to?
Would you just pop those peppers in there for me?
Sure.
What I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm just going to put a little bit. I've got this garlic infused olive oil. It's really nice. You've got to be careful with the amount of oil you use. Don't go OTT with it. And what I do is I do quite a big batch, so you can do courgette, peppers, anything you want. Just make sure. So I'm just going to put a nice little drizzle of oil on there and give that a little stir. And then I'm going to use a little bit of salt and pepper to season it up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roast it. Now the great thing about this is you can stick it in like little food bags, cool it down, and you can use it for either just to have a bit of veg with your tea, or you can obviously add it into these little quiches that we're going to make. So I'm just going to add a bit of salt and pepper in there. Move them out of the way, and I'll stick them there. They're there for you, Helen, when you're ready to go. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little stir up, make sure the salt and pepper is all the way through there, and then I'm going to pop it in this oven behind us, and that's ready to go. Okay, so in pure Blue Peter style, here's one I prepared earlier, so that's ready to go. So that's the peppers, aubergines, and all the good stuff in there, the celery in there. So what we're going to do, you've done the eggs, so that's perfect. So what I've done is I've lined a little muffin tray, so I've got a little bit of greaseproof paper, because the great thing about these is they're like a snacky treat, so there's something that you can just pick up and hold. So, and once they cool down, they're great. You can eat them hot as well. So I've lined it with greaseproof paper, and I've lined it with some bacon as well. So for vegetarians, great for greaseproof paper, but if not, you can use a little bit of bacon as well. So what I want you to do, Helen, for me, if you could just spoon a little bit of the vegetable mixture in the greaseproof paper. Okay. That's great. Move that out of the way.
Some people ask me about sugary drinks and what drinks are safe for teeth.
Right.
And we would always say water or milk. So again, the British Health Organisation, the British Dental Organisation rather, would always recommend milk or water to be safe for teeth. Some people ask about fizzy drinks. So with fizzy drinks, so an average can of cola, for example, would have about that much sugar in it.
Wowza.
So it's quite a lot in one can of cola, or you know, other fizzy drinks. So we've got to be really careful when we're choosing drinks, particularly, as I say, in between meal times. So some people ask about diet drinks. So they wouldn't have any sugar in, but what they would have is phosphoric acid, which can damage the enamel on the teeth. So again, milk or water are absolutely fantastic for in-between snacking. Perfect. Do you want me to put these in here?
You can do, in the little bacon ones.
You wanted me to save some tomatoes? Was that
it's all right, just
throw them
I like
in.
it, you can put whatever you want in.
Okay, this is looking absolutely yummy. No sugar, which is what I like.
No sugar. That'll do, that's plenty. Fantastic. That for me, Helen, thank you. And then what I'll do is, if you just pass that egg over to me, and then what I'll do, just stick that there for me, thank you. So, and have we got any seasoning in there?
No.
Or we just pop a little bit of salt and pepper in there for me. So what we're going to do with these is we're going to bake these, and then once they're the other way, and then once they're ready, they just pop out. So I'll show you what they're like. Thank you. So that's perfect. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. So all we want to do is, so Helen's done a lovely job. We stuck that egg, and then we're just going to pour a little bit in. Don't worry if it makes a little bit of a mess, and then just into the bacon as well. And I do it into the raw bacon, because obviously as we roast it, the raw bacon will cook. And you want it to cook until the point where it's crispy. A little bit of spillage there, don't worry about that. And the great thing is about the puff pastry, so this is all about having a crustless quiche. So the idea is that the crust is relatively healthy in itself. So I'm just going to pop this in the oven. And I'm going to let them bake. And then again, in true true style here. Here's one I prepared earlier. So these are what the finished ones look like. Somebody's already tasted one, as we can see. So what we've got is we've got the bacon down one side. It was Ian stole it. So what we're going to do is we're going to let everybody have a little taste. So what I'll do is I'll pop these on a plate and then we'll let everybody have a taste. And thanks very much for your help, Helen. That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much. Enjoyed that.
Did a great job.
Yeah.
Right. And there we go. Right, have a little taste of those. There you go, Trish. Have a little. And Ian, after you.
Thank you.
And then what I'll do is I'll take them and one over for you there, Helen.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, that's lovely. Can I just say one more thing before I go? If anybody's looking to find a dentist, contact your dentist primarily, and then after that, you can contact NHS 111. So that's a good way of looking for a dentist.
Fantastic. Luckily, I haven't had any of that yet, so we're all good. So we're going to move on now. So we're going to have a little clean down and let these lot stop chewing. And then what we'll do is we're going to have Trish up next doing banana pancakes.